Thank you so much for joining me through all of what's going on in the world right now. There's a lot going on. I know you all are super busy over at North Idaho College. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about is like a big part of what you all do. And it seems like what you've been doing for the last decade is really giving folks like resources, giving people who are wanting to get into business, who are in business, who are trying different things in business. It seems like that's what you've been doing for the better half of the last half decade. And now you and NIC are kind of following that track with the North Idaho COVID-19 business leadership call. Can you speak a little bit to what that is and also what you do over at North Idaho College?
Yeah, so to kind of work from the North Idaho Business Leaders Call and work backwards. So my position is pretty cool at North Idaho College. I get to help people. I work with students, I work with entrepreneurs, I work in the small business community. I'm sort of like outward facing and inward facing at the same time. And, you know, we've talked and you've been through the spaces we have on our campus. We do a lot of different things to help entrepreneurs and small businesses. And my job has been to sort of collect those resources and at least make sure that people are aware that we have a lot of things going. But as you and I were talking before we jumped on this podcast, with COVID-19, it's kind of turned the world upside down, especially for I guess my position where, I mean, I had everything planned out for 2020 and a lot of it was going to be in our lab spaces. We had a Amazon Small Business Academy, what we're going to host in person, and all of that's kind of now back up on the board now. So we've been working to figure out how do we help people digitally. And I think a lot of us out here are kind of figuring out how to help each other that way. So the business call, really a lot of chambers, EDCs, institutions are putting things out there to try to help people. And this is something that we organized in the community about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So the chambers, North Idaho College, Coeur d'Alene EDC, Panhandle Area Council, Innovia Foundation, we all took a call together and just said, how can we better organize? You know, what can we do together instead of us all throw things out there that are all pretty much the same? And this call was one of them. So I took it on and we organize who we can bring together that would be interesting for people in the business community. So last week was our first one. We had about 110 people on the call, which was great. I was expecting about 50, so 110 was good. That was my biggest Zoom call ever.
Nice.
To try to host something like that. And besides a few muted mics on my behalf, you know, it was pretty good.
Nice.
But what we did was, you know, bring people on. We had two mayors. So we had the Post Falls Mayor, Ron Jacobson. We had Steve Griffiths, who's the mayor of Hayden. And then we had the sheriff for Kootenai County. And just to speak about how they're taking on COVID-19, what some of their, what they're learning out there, because they're on a lot of different calls than you and I are. You know, they're speaking directly with the governor of Idaho on a weekly basis. They're speaking with emergency management on a daily basis. So they have things, you know, in their purview that we don't. And I think that's the purpose of what we're trying to bring is sort of that layer, because I see on Facebook, on LinkedIn, you know, between us and emails that people have questions about where to go and what's happening. And, you know, we're trying to bring that forward.